So Skirmish Season 12 starts this weekend, which means another 1,500 Living Legend points are on the table for Blitz. And with the new points multiplier system in place, it means that certain heroes who weren't necessarily going to be at risk prior now are, while others remain protected. So who is poised to L out this season, and more importantly, when will they go? Let's look at the numbers and see what this season is likely to hold for our heroes. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for, let's call it the official kickoff of Blitz Skirmish Season 12 coverage. That's right, starting this weekend, going August 16th through 31st. And for those of you who've been on this train before, you know how we start. We start with the LL analysis, looking at what may happen this season so that we can plan our heroes accordingly based on when our skirmishes are coming up. Maybe you're going to one every weekend, but either and so, you need to know when your favorite heroes may be at risk, or know that you're fine all season. And then, of course, we will check in each week as the points are posted. Usually it comes out on about a Tuesday, so you can look for me Tuesday or Wednesday morning with the update, and we'll have some deck techs and stuff along the way, because I do love Blitz, and Skirmish is really fun for that because we actually get stuff. And this time, by the way, we are featuring stupid, sexy Skirv. Obviously, you get that nice cold foil. I think most folks are actually interested in the Cerebellum processor, I think. So it should be fun to see how this all comes out. All right, so the data for Skirmish Season 12. Now, this is current as of August 5th, of when I pulled it, August 5th in Gem. So, you know, more could be added. But we'll talk about why we've got some wiggle room. So there are 673 total skirmish events in Gem. That's the most we've ever seen. I mean, game growth, we know that's happening, so I don't think that's a surprise. What has shifted from the past is there are only 237 Blitz skirmishes, so it's only 35% Blitz this season. In the past, we'd seen that it's 2/3 Blitz. But I know exactly why this happened. It's because they've introduced CSP this time, right? So you can run a CSP skirmish. It's effectively the store being able to sell product. A lot of stores lean into that, and it's a shorter format. In the past, that's been, I believe, why most stores have skewed towards Blitz, because it's easier to run a Blitz event, right? It doesn't take a whole day to do it as opposed to running like a Living Legend tournament, right? So I assume that half of those stores, I mean, that's what the data is telling us-ish. Again, we don't know everything, but within some point, you know, some range, we're about half of the Blitz events that we were last time, okay, in terms of percentage. Okay, now, 1,500 points on the table. We know that guaranteed. So with that, it means that we're going to have about 6 points per skirmish. So that is the number that I will be using for my spreadsheet until we learn otherwise. I wouldn't be shocked if they actually come and make it 5. That wouldn't surprise me. The math is actually like 6.3. So to my point on, you know, if more skirmishes get added, we could, you know, we'd have quite a bit of fluff room to stay at that 6. So I've decided to do all the math based on 6. Okay, 6 points per win. But we will see. We will see. It could, if it's 5, we'll come back and adjust it. No big deal. Okay, but we need to project worst case scenario. So that's where we're going to use the higher number. Okay, stick with me. All right, so week 1, there's 94 events. Week 2, 98 events. And then week 3 is only a piddly 45 events. So week 1 and week 2 are going to have the brunt. And if you make it past that, I mean, it doesn't matter because you're playing at week 3 anyway, so you've already gotten to play your hero. Okay, so what you see across the screen entirely right now is my spreadsheet, and I've sorted this 2 different ways. What is very important, so what you're seeing right now is just a pure, so from top to bottom, it's sorted on who has the most points. But you can see this time around, I've had to add the multiplier, right? Because if you've been in the game older than 2 years, you are 1.5. Less than a year is 0.5. Everybody else in that 1 to 2 range is at 1. I do want to also point out that even though Rosetta heroes are still at a 1/2 multiplier, because Terra and Aurora released right around Gen Con, I think I don't remember what the official release date, but it was some point in August that is before skirmish season. Terra and Aurora will both go into skirmish season with a multiplier of 1, which is not irrelevant, especially for Aurora. If you recall, she was one of the most popular heroes last season. Okay, and I do expect that trend to hold. Although she's taken some hits, I do still expect her to do quite well this season. Now, what we see here on the top, Dorinthea with 873 points and the 1.5 multiplier only needs 15 wins, which means across the season, which means that she only needs 6.3% of the overall wins. I think, and this is OG Dorinthea, this is not Quickie P, I do very realistically think that we lose Dorinthea this season. Now, how that matters to you from a week 1, week 2, week 3, and that's what you see on the right side there, is she would have to win 16% week 1. Seems unlikely. Roughly 8% by week 2. Maybe, probably not. But 6% is quite achievable. It's not a guarantee with her, because I do expect more people to be playing Quicksilver Prodigy, but it is possible. After that, the next hero is Bravo, who would have to win 11%. We have Blaze, who would have to win 18%. Okay, so that is very interesting from that standpoint. Now, what you see in this is if you look at the overall win percentage, right? This one's sorted by the overall win percentage. That's why you see a slightly different sorting there. Okay, you do see that some of the more popular heroes within the meta actually fall pretty low. Like I personally think that anyone above like the 20% win rate is going to be anything above 20% win rate in Blitz is going to be very hard to achieve. So I think that even Kayo there, which is very relevant at the 23.6% by the end of the season, is going to be very tough. And again, if you look at the week tracking, he'd have to win 60% week 1. He'd have to win 30% basically week 2. So even if he does win a quarter of the events, let's say, you're going to be able to play Kayo the whole time. Right? So stuff like this is very relevant for what you want to bring in. Okay, so now what I have across the screen is the same list as before, except I've expanded it to also include Terra and Florian, whom I also consider to be relevant. But you see right away that the reason they weren't on the list prior is they were so low. So I'd cut it off at roughly anything over 40%, which is why these two weren't included. You see Terra at 63.7, highly unlikely to go this season, and Florian needs to win 127% of the events this season, which means that Florian cannot go. So he is an absolutely safe choice for the entire season. So the takeaway from this is if we go into this highlight and we look at whom I consider to be the top 5 threats, keeping in mind that this is Blitz and it's local meta dependent, and Datadol could do things, Lexi's could do things, whatever it may be, right? But if we look at those top 5, Blaze would have to win 18% to leave this season, and you're probably fine playing her all season. Kayo, as we already talked about, would have to win basically a quarter of the events to LL out, and you're going to be able to play him all season. Aurora, I don't think goes this season. 40+% seems pretty absurd. Quickie P at 38% seems very unachievable. ASC, very, very, very relevant because of just the slippy, and that's what we saw. And not only was Aurora popular last time, but she was also one of the more CC winning heroes. So I believe a lot of folks just cut their deck, right? They just trimmed their deck. ASC, Slippy's very popular right now. So I believe ASC will see, and he's very good in Blitz right now also. Like you land a toxicity, that kind of hurts, right? Toxicity off a Kiss of Death, that sucks, right? That's real good. But 34%, I don't think they're going. And Florian, whom I think is maybe arguably, I don't know, Kayo's pretty good. I really can't decide who I favor over Florian or Kayo, and I think that's a cool problem to have. But again, Florian, no way does he go. No way. He's going to do very well. I mean, we've seen the math. He just can't go. So I think that's all very interesting. Now, just for S's and G's, I'm going to throw up the full spreadsheet so you can probably zoom in and use your magnifying glass. Actually, tell you what, on the editing, I'll do the bottom, just so you can see where your other heroes fall. But again, if the takeaway from this is, can I play my hero safely all season? The answer is, if they weren't one of the heroes we already looked at, definitely yes. And there's really only 1 or 2 heroes that may be in risk, and that's Bravo and Dorinthea. And honestly, I don't know that they're going to do it, right? So that's going to be very interesting. Now, this all comes with a caveat, of course, of I'm assuming 6 points, right? We have to assume worst case scenario. If you're planning ahead, it's the right thing to do. But if they come back and it's less than 6 points, well, then it gives you way, way, way more margin. And we might even have another season where nobody goes. which could be very, very interesting. So anyway, that is the recap for the actual numbers breakdown. I already gave you kind of my top 5. I do want to encourage you to tune in all this week. Is Blitz Monday, Wednesday, Friday. 3 Skirmish season Blitz focused videos. On Wednesday, we are going to be looking at whom I consider to be the top 5. And then on Friday, we're going to be looking at 5 sleeper heroes that I have identified for the season. And guess what, folks? Both of those videos have deck lists, which means 10 deck lists coming at you over the next week. And all you got to do is stick right here with me. Oh, and you got to give me that like and that subscribe because, hey, a lot of people will trash talk on Blitz all day. But for those of us that like it, you got to appreciate the coverage. Give me the love. Folks, have a great time this weekend and go Commando.